Hi everyone, welcome to PowerShell for Penetration Testers at Pentester Academy. In this video, let's have a look at using PowerShell with human interface devices. Human interface devices could be very useful for getting a foothold system and are very useful in the exploitation phase of a penetration test. We will use Teensy. This is a Teensy3 as a human interface device. Why do we want to use PowerShell with human interface devices? Once again, because it is already available in the modern Windows machines. It is tightly integrated with various Windows components. It is trusted. It is easy to use. It is powerful, and we can do much stuff in much less lines of code. And how do we use it? For example, we will see how we can write our PowerShell scripts and use them and use a human interface device to write them on a target and then execute them. We will use Kautilya, which is a toolkit created by me. It could be used to generate Arduino sketches, which could be written directly to a human interface device and used in a penetration test. So let's see it in action. So Kautilya is written in Ruby. Therefore, it looks better on a Windows machine, but let's use it on a Linux machine. But let's use it on Windows, anyways. So let's run payload for Windows and try to gather some information. Recall that we saw a script from Nishang, invoke credentials fish, and even at that time I mentioned that it would be better used from an attack vector like a human interface device. Let's see that in action. So this sixth option, get target credentials, is nothing but implementation of invoke credentials fish. So there is this small description of the payload we selected. We can exfiltrate the credentials fished using this payload to pastebin, Gmail, or a web server which logs post request, or a DNS server which logs TXT queries. But for now, let's not exfiltrate anywhere. So let's use 0. The Kautilya right now has been tested only on Teensy devices, a Teensy++ 2.0, which is this device, and a Teensy 3, which is this device. So let's use Teensy 3. Now the output has been generated in the output directory of Kautilya. So let's go there, and we have an Arduino sketch ready for us. Let's just copy this and paste this in Arduino. Verify that everything is fine, and then upload it to the device. Note that you must select board and board type from here so that you do not encounter any error. Let's just upload it to our device. We have a Teensy3 connected to the machine. And hopefully the device gets rebooted. Okay, it does. Now let's see if it is able to do something. So I'm not typing anything. So it is able to say yes to a UAC prompt. So the command window you are looking at right now, it is running as with administrator privileges and is minimized. And the text is being written in blue on a black screen. So that is it. So this hardly took 15 seconds or so, 15-20 seconds. And you can see that a credential prompt appears in front of a user. And no matter how many times I want to escape it, it won't go away. If I enter wrong credentials, it won't go away. So let me enter correct credentials. And if we would have chosen any exfiltration method, our credentials would be sent to that place. If you see the temp directory of the current user, you will get to know how Cautelia works. Let's not see capslock.vbs right now. Cautelia has a bit complex code. It checks for few things before executing the payload. Right now you can understand that caps lock is required for reliable code execution or command execution. So this cr.vbs, it does nothing but runs this PowerShell file script, which is this. And now if you compare this with the invoke credentials fish from Nishank, you'll see that it is nothing but an ugly version of that script. So this was a quick example of how we can use human interface devices with PowerShell. As you can see, there are so many payloads. Explore Cautelia. If you frequently do physical penetration testing or social engineering campaigns, use it. It would come handy. You can order a Teensy device from pjrc.com or any reseller. It costs much less than commercially available toolkits. So use it and enjoy it. You may like to read all the posts labeled Cautelia on my blog, which also contains a 5-part blog series for beginners. Or you can also see this very interesting talk by Iron Geek. So that is all for this video. Hope you enjoyed using a human interface device and the power of PowerShell with it. If you're enjoying your time at Pentester Academy, please recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the information security community.